What's up, everybody? Welcome back to 1/6 Fix for another origin story, episode 3, actually. You can see Pancake popping up over here. So I do have some discouraging news to share right off the bat. Gigi has quit the show. It was a long time coming, and we're we're making do. No, totally joking. She had to work today, so I've got my buddy Ben Thomas on to fill in as co-host, and obviously we're going to be having a nice little chat with 1/6 Figure Focus, and we've got a special guest with him, his girlfriend Megan. So really interested to get their perspectives on collecting and and we'll go way back in the day. We're going to talk about when we were kids. So yeah, really looking forward to this conversation. Thank you all for tuning in. All right. Shane, thank you so much for joining today. And Megan, thank you very much. It's a pleasure to have you both on.
Thanks so much for having us.
No problem. I was only going to be sitting on the couch otherwise, so like
watching another stream, right?
Yeah, you made me walk up the stairs. How dare you?
I know. Right? No, really appreciate it. So what time is it over there in your side of the world?
Well, actually, thank you for asking that and actually being accommodating on that, because it's a normal time. I'm streaming tonight at 2:30 with Anthony from Six Scale Mafia, and after this I go with Iron Logan at 10. But no, I really appreciate 7 o'clock. It's 7 p.m.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so like I appreciate it's a normal
this is just
time.
Kicking off, this is just kicking off your evening. You got a full evening ahead. My goodness.
Iron Logan in the middle.
Oh my gosh, incredible. Megan, how do you put up with this stuff?
I don't know. I don't mind. I get the TV to myself. I get to watch my Real Housewives. I don't mind.
So we will obviously, get into a lot more about how you guys balance things, but also want to introduce Ben Thomas, who was obviously, one of our special guests last week and filling in for co-host duties today. So Ben, how you doing today?
I am excellent. Taking on Gigi's seat is a big responsibility, I must say. She is way better looking on camera than I am. So I went into hair and makeup before the stream. I blame the lateness slightly on myself. I'm like, I have to get the lighting right, all the good stuff. But no, I'm just teasing. Thanks for having me here, and awesome to meet Megan and Shane. Thanks for letting me join in on the stream with you guys. So it's awesome. I'm excited for it, and I'm going to be monitoring the chat. So if I look like I'm not paying attention, it's just because I'm focused on what the Pearson is saying and Equan and all these guys that are joining us today. So
yeah, thank you for that, Ben. And I don't know how to give you co-host duties on StreamYard yet. I'm a total rookie when it comes to this, so I guess you just maybe call out a person in the chat if you think we should address it. I'll pull it up if that works okay. So let's
got a
address
hello, my name is tag on me that says co-host. No problem.
Perfect. So let's see who we've got going on in the chat really quick. We've got Mark Pearson. Where's your eye candy? Well, we got plenty of eye candy here today. I would exclude myself from that list, but here it is. We've got my wife, Gigi. So as I mentioned, she's working today, but thank you for joining, Gigi. Didn't quit the show, actually, but late per usual, not shocked. I love to blame her every time I'm late because, before she and I started dating, I cared a lot about time and being punctual. And she's really dragged me down into the mud of just being kind of carefree when it comes to time. So even when she's not around, her spirit is still there guiding me and not really caring about the clock. So let's see. All right, that's me right there. We got Ben Thomas in the chat as well. Thank you, Ben, for already keeping us on track. This is your number one duty for today. So it's looking good. So
timekeeper.
Let's see. We got Chris Letty. Chris, honored to have you in here, man. As I mentioned before, was a huge fan of Six Scale Scavengers. Hope you guys are coming back in the near future. Right? So that's actually how Shane and I connected was through the Six Scale Scavengers group, and we'll get into that in just a second. We've got Six Scale Padawan. Thank you for joining today.
That's Keith. He's Irish. He's one of us. He's a legend, and I think he's a bit sick at the moment. So hope he's okay, man. He is a legend.
Powering through for us. We'll really appreciate that. Not to get racial here, but one too many on the stream. So one of you's got to go. But let's see. We got Equan. Equan, thank you for joining. And let's see who else. I think that's it right now. So yeah, really, really appreciate you all joining today. So Shane, maybe I was alluding to it. Maybe give some background on how you and I met, how you and I connected, because it might be kind of similar to how Ben and I connected, actually.
Yeah. Well, I suppose we're all fully grown men who collect dolls. There's that, you know. So, and we all have some sort of significant other who tolerates it. Well, uh, at first, I'm a big fan of Six Scale Scavengers. I think it's a really, really good Facebook group and it's a really, really good stream. And really, really like the lads over there. They're gentlemen. So I suppose the setup that I have behind, we just kind of moved into this house back in September, and this was a long kind of a process of putting it together. And I think it was when we moved in, I kind of put together the risers, and we built the details. Yeah, so this helped me build the details. I wouldn't be able to do it on my own.
Oh, Megan, you helped with this.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah,
so
they were.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been able to do it on my own. They're awkward.
Definitely a two-person job. Yeah,
I think so. Unless you want shattered glass everywhere.
That's right.
But I kind of documented, took a photo of like just the risers, and then with the details, and then when the lights were wired, and then when there was actually figures in it, and someone must have tagged you because you were looking into kind of what kind of how you wanted your display to look, and I think you commented on a post, and then you were asking about how I hid the wiring because it was a clean look, and that's what I like. I like a clean display. I don't like clutter anywhere. I'm brutal
for wires like you, right?
Wires suck, man. I like everything should be wireless. I'm brutal. I'm not the best for cleaning.
Oh, we'll get into that, huh, Megan?
But I hate clutter. I like things. Everything should have a place. But you commented on it, and you were asking about the wire. Then instead of just reply, I thought it'd be a lot better if I just made a video and explained it. Maybe it's the teacher in me or whatever, just so you get an idea of like what cabinets I was using, how to do the risers, what lights I was using, how to wire them. I think the video was 4 minutes. I definitely went on, and I was thinking,
so incredible, man. Like nobody would do that, right? Except maybe for Ben, but and I put loop in that category. But like to just go out and help your fellow collector by sending a long video like that.
But I didn't even see that. I genuinely thought he isn't going to understand a word I'm saying, to be honest. Like but
still don't.
Yeah, exactly. Subtitles are great. You're that one person who actually watches my videos with the subtitles. Yeah, so then I sent you the video, and there was a few messages back and forth, and I just got a really good vibe from you. Now I know you. I was wrong, but
you're dead wrong, man.
Yeah, I got a good vibe. I was like, this guy, he's into the same stuff. He's passionate. He comes across really well, and we were curious about the same kind of collectibles, and we were kind of back and forth. And I know when I set up the photography page, I sent you the link, and you were supportive of that. And the two people who I ran the idea for the YouTube channel about Collect and Buy was Megan and yourself, and both of you were very, just go for it, definitely go for it. And I think that was just a little bit of a push I needed. And like I've said it in streams before that I've been in the last 2 weeks, I love collecting, I love photography, but really and I love editing videos, but really the main thing is that I get to do things like this and talk to other people with the same interests and hobbies and connect with other collectors, because none of my friends here collect, so I do want to thank you. The channel literally wouldn't be a channel if it wasn't for you and Megan, because that little bit of a push and encouragement. So thank you very much.
Well, appreciate that. And you're killing it now, man. So I'm really glad that you took that leap. It was like you were there and you just needed a little bit of encouragement to just take the leap. I think Ben's there right now too. There you go. So
I honestly have to echo that sentiment. I do not think I would be doing this as well if it weren't for 165 getting us in and getting started. And then it's been a floodgate. As soon as you get on one, you get invited to a couple others, and suddenly people are asking you if you're going to post a video. I was up until like 4:00 in the morning last night trying to figure out a video, and it was a little rough, but it was fun. So I might have to take some video editing tips from you there at some point, Shane. So
yeah, oh man, it's surprising that one of the things that I've learned, and one of the things like I've another YouTube channel. It's all about Bitcoin, but this one is so much more rewarding. And a lot of the skills that I learned when I was editing videos for that, they're transferable onto this, but there's so much more reward from this because people are actually watching the videos. Oh, no. And there's people commenting, and like this was the first live stream I was asked on, and you asked me on like over a month ago. And in the meantime, Lael and Will Fox Vacation gave me shout outs, and Lael brought me on his show a few times and introduced me to brother cousins, and now it's just a snowball effect. But you were the first person to kind of go, yeah, we want you on the show. So again, thank you. And Ben, anytime we can set up a Zoom, I can give you like a crash course in iMovie or whatever if you're stock or whatever.
Awesome. I would love that. That would be awesome. Yeah, I'm as I said, just sticking my toe in the water, so we'll see how she goes. But I'm sure there'll be lots of opportunity. That's awesome. Thanks, man.
See, I can recognize talent when I see it. So I know the guys that are ready. And yeah, so Shane, you obviously had the Bitcoin YouTube before, but Megan, how did that conversation go when he asked, like when he mentioned that he wanted to do Hot Toys YouTube? Like, what were your feelings when he mentioned that?
God, I don't know. I remember thinking, God, that's going to be a lot to like to take on, because you're already doing, like, it's a lot of work in the Bitcoin, and you're constantly, checking on Twitter and checking all these facts and reading articles. And it was the same then with the live streams. Like, anytime he's free around the house, like I can hear the YouTube and I can hear a live stream happening, because there's always a live stream happening somewhere, sometime.
Always.
So I was like, God, this is gonna like take over. But it made everything here like make sense, because I was saying to the lads earlier, like when we first started dating, and I remember you showed me the Batman and the Joker in your parents' house, and at the time, I think you might have had an Iron Man as well, but I was kind of like, oh, they're cool, yeah. But then all of a sudden, like, it just exploded, and I didn't realize that this was ever going to happen. Like, what's behind us, like, I didn't think that was ever going to happen. But no, it's cool. Like, I never thought that this could be a hobby, and that this, like, the YouTube channels and the streams and connecting with so many people was a thing. It's not like where I would have gone to like a dance class and then did a show, because I'm into my musicals and that's what I'm into. But this is really cool.
Yeah, I didn't think it, like, just I have to pull you up on something though. Right. And I hope your friends are watching, like this. A lot of live streams do be going on, man. But I think I've seen more episodes of the Real Housewives of XYZ than any other human male on the planet.
Shane, that's called the one for us, one for them. I was recently got roped into watching Love is Blind, and we watched the reunion last night, and it gets a little out of control. It's not my favorite content, but
Marco, sometimes I wish I was blind and deaf. Like
some of the worst people on the planet are in some of these shows. But
oh God, but like, yeah, I suppose it's a good TV drama.
Yeah, I guess so.
I feel like, with this really boutique hobby we have, sorry, Ben, I'll say this and I'll let you hop in, but, I'm the last person on earth to like ever like judge whatever something makes someone happy. I'm just like, I'm the last person to say anything about it. If that's what you like, hey, go for it. So.
Yeah.
Well, and I have to echo that sentiment too, Shane. Like even this morning, Shauna was making me this beautiful breakfast and putting it all together for us. And I just posted this YouTube video last night, and I was, looking at the chats and looking at the comments and, seeing how many people were subscribing and all this stuff. And she was like, hey, like, so we're going to eat breakfast together, right? And I was like, 100%, you have to make that time. But the other thing I kept saying is like, wow, like, I appreciate you so much, because like you're right. I'm exploding with, excitement and passion for this. And I can't wait to talk to these guys, and I can't wait. But if it weren't for her, and it wasn't for the love that I have in the household, and wasn't for her helping me bring all this together, I wouldn't even be here. So, I mean, she was my number one fan to start. And, I've got to keep it that way. So it sounds like you are too, Megan.
And this is like, this is a lot about what our channel is about, because it's so easy to fall out of balance, both like financially, and then when it comes to the time commitment, that it's an ongoing struggle. You could be down the straight and narrow, and then all of a sudden you're starting a YouTube channel and meeting people, and you're pre-ordering this $500 Batman figure. So Ben, I'm looking right at you. So yeah, no, this is definitely what these conversations are about. Let me address the chat, and then we'll maybe get into our first question here. So just wanted to thank Chris Letty again for sharing this stream with the 6 Scale Scavengers group. That's awesome. Thank you, Chris.
Nice. Thanks, Chris.
So we've got Tukathri in here. Another person who is like, he collects a lot of other stuff, and he just loves the community so much. He was like, Hot Toys really aren't even my main collectible, but this, as you were saying, Shane, right? Like you meet one person and it just kind of snowballs, because it's such a small community and everyone's so nice. So Let's see, Gigi saying Megan, they tricked Megan. That's how they get you, right? That's we trick you into joining our silly hobbies here. So, and we've also got Cuervo in here. Hey, Cuervo, thanks for joining, man. And Cuervo will actually be on next week too. So we're loving these conversations here. And so he's got kids and really interested to get that perspective of how the heck you collect when you've got children, and so many other responsibilities. How does it all fit in? But Megan, I'm seeing calls for you to start a Housewives channel. So you've got the setup here, right? You just got to plug and play at this point.
Just don't bring them over here, man. I can't deal with the drunken anger in that show.
Guilty pleasure. So Megan, not to go too far down the Housewives rabbit hole, but are you watching every season? Is that kind of like your go-to show or what?
Yeah, so there's different franchises, and I don't watch all the franchises because like you literally would not have a life if you had to like keep up with every single one. But during lockdown there was franchises like New Jersey that I'd never watched, so I started from season 1. So you're watching the fashion and style from back in like 2007 2008, and you're like, God, but there was, what else was there to do during lockdown? So yeah, it's dedication to like keep up with all of them.
Literally whatever keeps you sane. And that's actually how I started collecting, was during the pandemic. I know Ben and Shane have been collecting for a lot longer. And I think it was all probably for the three of us, the Dark Knight that, got us into Hot Toys. I mean, I never bought one, but I always had my eye on like, if I had the space and the money, I would get all of these. And so, that's like, during the pandemic, you just find something to cling on to. And the live streams, especially like 6 Scale Scavengers, collecting weekly, like those kept me sane. I'm not going to lie. Just having something to look forward to.
100%, because I mean, like a lot of people like say, I know if we think of our hobbies, like we were supposed to go to New Zealand summer 2020 just to go snowboarding for like, was it 6 weeks?
6 weeks,
and like sightseeing, snowboarding, the most beautiful place in the world, like, you know what I mean? So that was obviously done. Like we're both big into exercise and stuff. Gyms were done. We could go for runs within 5 kilometers of Rome.
5 kilometer radius.
My God, like this, like the same loop. Like a lot of people, there was so many people who like lost jobs and lost loved ones, and like we didn't. Thankfully, we weren't that affected in that sense. Like, but even other things, like everyone has a bit of skin in the game, like But this was kind of one hobby. Is like, all right, I can still do this from home. So, and it wasn't like I picked it up. It was like there was a cabinet we're in like a 1-bedroom apartment. That was interesting. And,
But there was still room for a cabinet for collectibles.
Oh, of course. Obviously.
That's amazing. I should have shared my one picture with you guys today before the show, because it was the same way. Shauna and I shared essentially a 500 square foot apartment with one closet. That was it. And that one closet had 3 Hot Toys boxes in it, all of our clothing, all of our shoes, like all of it, including one Kallax, which is kind of behind us here, which was in the main room, and that housed our cat's water fountain and her bed and a stormtrooper. That was the only figure I was allowed to bring out, but that's okay. It was still cool in the living room, right?
Yeah. Are you sure it was a cat or a flurkin?
It might have been a flurkin. You might be right.
It was
you
a
might be onto
flurkin,
something.
Life-size flurkin, man.
Right. But it's true, like going from such a small square footage footprint, I used to just kind of look at Sideshow and Toys Wonderland and just dream of what could be. So seeing even the amount of figures you guys have in behind you, it's just like, it's heartwarming.
It's funny that we all kind of have that same experience where we were coming from much smaller places. And then when we had just I'm not in a huge space now, but, enough to put some figures up. And it's like, the moment I was given that inch, I was taking a mile. I was like, okay, I need all of these figures now and I need a clean display. And so it's like you had that pent up demand. And I think I will speak for all of us. I think we all have some pretty decent displays over here. So
yeah, I think so. Definitely. I'm loving those U lights behind you, Ben. The control.
They are worth the investment. I mean, they would go beautifully with that microphone that you've got going, by the way, as
there
well. So like, I'm fangirling a little bit over the
microphone.
Mine's at least tucked away.
Send them the link afterwards.
Right. I will.
That's right.
There's an app for it where you can actually just pick a certain color or pick like the top half of one color. It comes with it. I haven't done that yet. I want to just be able to talk through it at the moment. It looks pretty, like, but yeah.
One of the things that I really liked about the Philips Hue is that you can set scenes. So they have some default scenes that you can choose from, or you can make your own scenes. But if you have more than 1 or 2 lights, essentially you can come down and click a scene, or you can do it on a dynamic mode. So pretty much anytime I come to the basement, it's a different feel down here with different vibe, right? And depending on whose channel I'm on, like I was on After Dark the other night with the Collecting Weekly guys, so I made sure we had the After Dark logo colors in there and stuff. So it was fun. It's fun to play with, right? I mean, oftentimes Sean will come down, what are you doing? Literally just playing with my lights. Don't even worry about it. We'll just get
better than playing with something else, right?
One of the things I really wanted to do is just be able to do this. Like, I just that's like the one thing
now
I
you're
really
just
wanted
flexing,
to
man.
do. Like,
now you're just flexing.
But like that's just a plug that costs a Wi-Fi plug that costs like 20, and everything goes into a hub and goes into that, and it just means you don't have to like click something or whatever. It's just like on before you get there. Just, you know, I like that. I'm going to do a video on the setup properly. Kind of like
I definitely copied you on that aspect as well, and it's so nice to just turn it on and off with the app.
Influenced by, I'd say, because even if you look at like, I was influenced by Jeddah. Jeddah was the first person I heard talk about Luke lights. I watched his video several times. You could probably quote
several times.
Oh no.
I personally prefer Detolfs to module cases, which is grand, good for the wallet. I saw the risers. It was Graham from Jedi Knights Watch. He actually had made his own custom one, and I messaged him about it because I thought maybe it was like he or whatever, and he got back to me a few times, and really nice guy. Really like took the time to comment and explain how he did it, and I watched it again, and so I was influenced like that. Roy Visser from Six Scale Scavengers. One time he was in the background. He was on Six Scale Scavengers, and in the background he had a clean setup. And I was like, yeah. So it's like a what's the thing? You know when you're planning something and you have a board planner. You did for the house. A vision board. Yeah. That's it.
Vision board.
Yeah, vision board.
Room.
Yeah.
You know, shout out to Roy as well. I think he was the first person that I really heard speak about, you know, rotating figures and giving them room to breathe, and just kind of like you're doing one at a time. You know, there's no wrong way to display. It's really personal preference, but you know, I think we're all kind of in that boat where it's like, you know, the figures speak for themselves so much better if you just have one or 2 at a time.
Yeah, because it looks like it's valued.
And there's like something to be said for it. I do agree with both of you. I think, you know, it looks really clean. You look more valuable in, like, for me anyways. But my only concern is there is that finite amount of space, right? This basement is only so big. If I'm going to display one figure at a time, or get into the vehicles at some point, or some of that stuff, I mean, you know, you have to be very picky and choosy with what you add to the collection, right? So that's kind of, exactly, curating that collection 100%. And I mean, just going back to your light switch there's something to be said for that. You know, I am not a young man anymore. The last time I tried to reach over my couch to turn off a light switch, I pulled my back, and that was it. I went to the store that afternoon. We bought Hue lights, and never again. So it's not a young man's game.
Well, Ben, like if you're not a young man, I'm ready for the glue factory, brother.
Oh my god. It's the camera. It takes 10 years off. Don't worry about it.
You moisturize, man. That's it. Yeah.
So let me address the chat really quick, and then we will hop in actually to our first question. So we got third-party reviews. Thank you for joining. Great stream this morning, by the way. I'm not really into the third-party figures yet, but I did just get this So Toys Gambit, and you know, watching your stream now, I'm like aware of way too many figures that are on the horizon, so I'm a little scared right now. But GG hopefully didn't hear that. Let's see, we've got so I guess let's hop into the first question here. And Shane, this is to you with the follow-up question for Megan. What was the first hot toy you ever got? And Megan, were you with him at the time? Like, how did you feel about like when he wanted to buy it, or if you weren't, like, how did you feel when he showed you this figure?
That's really funny if you think about it. But no, I bought it a long time ago, so we definitely weren't together. But they're the ones you were talking about, though.
Yeah, the Batman.
Yeah.
And then there was Iron Man, I think.
Yeah, there was 2008, I think, must have been 2008, 2009 when The Dark Knight came out. And I was like, just, again, I think people who have watched any of my videos, like, they're probably going, man, you need to stop talking about that film, because it comes up regularly. But the Dark Knight came out, and I got the Joker and the Batman, the Batman Begins suit before he got the upgrade. And they were the first two I got, and I was thinking, I was just blown away by the detail. The face sculpt was like, this is like a shrunken down Heath Ledger. Like, this is
right.
how I want to see a program on how you actually do that. I knew they were all fully licensed. I knew they were official. I knew that, you know, they had to have his rights, and even like at the time he'd passed, so I assume his family had the estate, and you know, I knew that they'd worked out the licensing. But it just blew my mind. How do you manage to like tailor that little coat so it doesn't make it look like it's bulky? It's just ridiculous, like the skills that these people have. So yeah, those two anyway were the first, and then I don't think I got the Ironman until 2018, because I went on to Sideshow. I was like, yeah, I've been meaning to get an Ironman. I was saying to Ben before the show that the only reason that I didn't get any more at that stage was because this in the back of my mind was kind of something I wanted, and I was like, right, I don't want, and I didn't know where I was going to be living. You know, I wasn't like, you know, renting a place long term. I kind of maybe have, I just didn't have the space to display, and I was like, there's no point in buying these things because they're so expensive. They're going to sit in the box. That's just, I think that's silly, personally. Each their own. So they were the first two. And then
yeah, but I remember because when you were working abroad and you sent me pictures of the Ironman, and I was kind of like, that's really cool because like you were saying, the detail and everything. But I can't really remember a time or a specific moment when it just exploded into like all of this.
Yeah,
like I actually
right
can't. Yeah, it really did, because I know
stealth
you were
skills
because you were working abroad for the few years, but I actually can't remember. Did you buy many during that period, or was it when you came back? But obviously then we were in the smaller small apartment. So like I said, we had the little cabinet, we had the wardrobe, had the shipper boxes, you know, and that stuff as well. But yeah,
it's like no one understands the concept of shipper boxes unless you're in the game. Like,
that's right. How absurd it is to keep a cardboard box.
But we had boxes for the boxes for the boxes. I was trying to. I remember going into work and saying to my friends that we had a little closet in the apartment, and we said we put like coats in it and things. But no, we had to buy these massive plastic boxes in IKEA for the shipper boxes that contained the fancy box.
Oh my
goodness! The toy. I have to stop calling them toys, but it was a box for a box for a box.
Yeah. I think I prefer the term fancy box.
Yeah.
Fancy box.
I like fancy box. Yeah.
And Megan, they are toys though. You could totally call them that. They're toys, they're dolls, whatever you want to call them. Again, I don't care what they make us happy. So at the end of the day, but so let me ask you a follow-up question. And if it's getting too personal, then just tell me to back off. But is there ever a point where it gets, you know, annoying or obnoxious, given that, you know, it takes so much, you know, money and thought and time?
That's for you.
Yeah, well, like we keep our kind of finances sort of separate. So financially, I'm like, you know, whatever you do, like I'm going to go buy like my shoes or handbags or whatever, and you can go and, you know, buy those. But time wise, like, you know, I know like Ben was saying earlier, like it's nice to be like, oh, are we going to eat together? Like you have to rush off, you know, like I still have a few like bits of chicken here on my plate. Can I finish them before you go back upstairs? Or you know, like if I'm home after he's home, you know, I'm always hearing a stream. Like that's just the kind of like, I feel like that's the background music to our lives at the moment.
Yeah,
that's the soundtrack.
But there are worse.
I think you kind of hit the nail on the head there with like when we moved to apartments, the one thing, like I know that there's certain things you'll look at an empty room and you'll be able to go, yeah, a lamp would look great there. That kind of a couch look great there. You're very good at that. I know what I like, but in terms of starting from scratch, not as good as you with that. But the only thing I kind of wanted was, okay, I want a nice, tasteful cabinet for the figures, and I want to kind of an input into, say, some of the artwork on the wall. They were the kind of only two things. And with the house, it was like, okay, I want a 4-bedroom house. We kind of set in, we're looking for a while, and I'll take the little box room, and that'll be, you know, for the collection room, and like, you know, it's a workroom as well. Like if you ever had to come in and work from home, like of course you come in here as well. That's a given. Like,
how would your coworkers feel about all these figures in the background?
Oh God, no! It's a blur background type of job. No,
that's
like,
right.
Virtual
no. Like it's like we're both teachers. Like, so it's just without going too much into detail about that. I don't think teenagers need any other distractions. Like, you know what I mean? So
that's a good point.
You know,
or giving them ammunition to target at you.
But I mean, it's only a matter of time, I think, before like they find the YouTube. But like teaching's a funny profession. Like I'm not going to go too detailed about it, but you know, teachers.
You're a chemistry teacher, right?
Yeah, chemistry teacher. Yeah. It helps fund my collection. Yeah, but it's basically like, you know, if you're a teacher, if you have a Facebook and Instagram, you keep it on private. But with a YouTube, it's like you're talking about one thing. With the Bitcoin, you're talking about Bitcoin. With this, you're talking about collecting. You are definitely giving away a little, you know, bit of your interest, and that's just a given. You just have to accept that. So yeah, like it's, you know, it is what it is. But it's like kind of once you keep it on, I would be, if I had to work from home, it'd be a blurred background.
There you go.
My point is, you got your room as well.
I did, yeah. I have my own room, so fair is fair.
When you said you got the little box room, I thought you meant you had a room dedicated to just your shipper boxes, and then you'd have a collecting room. Not so much. Yeah. Fair enough. That's asking too much.
To be honest, the shipper boxes, man, I couldn't care less about the shipper box. The shipper box has one function. It's to ship it to you so that the art box, which are beautiful and well designed, don't get wrecked. After that, 100%. Gone. I'm doing a video on that about we made a joke about the boxes for boxes, but I'm going to do a video on storage, because there shouldn't be there might be one or two boxes in here, but that's just maybe new arrivals, or if I took something down, for example, Iron Logan, I want to make sure that I have all the accessories out. I'm going to have ammunition here because he's like a guru with the posing, like for the Mark 85 battle damage. So making sure that's there. But I will do a video on storing the boxes. So we got these big IKEA boxes. You can fit like, I don't know, maybe 7, 8 different boxes in there, but get rid of the shipper. You'll fit more. The shipper, I don't know, man. It's like, it's a cardboard box.
It's tough to lose that value, right? But at the end of the day, those would be the first things to go. If you got to make room for other stuff.
I don't think the shipper boxes make any.
Well, I'm glad I know this now, because about 2 weeks ago you got a new figure and you asked me to open the box, and I was like, oh my god, what if I like accidentally damage the fancy box? I was like scared to open the shipper box.
Yeah.
Could you notice anything? Because I actually watched a bit of the stream last week. I think, Ben, it's Sarah, isn't it? Your partner that
Shauna. Yep,
Shauna.
No,
she was telling a story about when she bought you a figure and it got sent to her work, and she like opened it up and like started playing with it and everything. Like I laughed. I thought that was the best story ever. But I would even.
That's a strong relationship.
I'm terrified. Yeah, I'm
the
terrified.
PTSD. Ooh. That's awesome, Megan. I'm glad you enjoyed that.
Yeah,
because it was a rough story to return to, you know.
Yeah. I think
one of the best things. One of the best things I did was take the accessories out of the boxes and find different ways for storage. And like you said, you know, going on with Iron Logan, or for me last week with Pose Wars, you know, having the ability to just be able to reach for the stuff that, you know, can change up a figure, and then you walk past your cabinet and it looks like a different display every time you go by. It's awesome. And so I agree with you. Like I'm hanging onto these shipper boxes in my mechanical room, and I'm looking at them thinking like, I don't have any intention to sell these guys. So like maybe I should scale it down a little bit. But in Canada here, it does seem like the occasional figure that I have had to sell or swap out for, buy your collection with your collection. I have noticed that the people, one of the first questions they ask is, does it have the shipper box? So I'm like, I don't know. I wonder if it's different place to place, or if you just get those people who are just like, they want it, you know, immaculate, right?
You know, collectors are an anal bunch, right? Yeah.
Oh man, I just don't. The whole shipper box thing, it has a function. It's literally in the name. I mean, I'll keep the art box guaranteed, because someone put effort into that. It does look beautiful. It's a good way to store it, and the plastic on the outside. But like, if it was me, if it's, I don't like using the word grail. If you find your grail and it's as good as new, I wonder how many of those people would say like, oh no, I'm not taking it now. I'm not taking that deal because I don't have the cardboard box. I just think that's ridiculous. Like, but look, you are right. They are very particular. Yeah.
But then I look at my DX12 box and my DX11 box, and those are boxes that I did take out of the shipper. And those were two of those boxes that floated around that single closet in that small apartment for years. And man, did those corners get damaged? Like there's no way I could sell that thing for full price now, even if I wanted to, which, like, let's be honest, I'm never going to part with it. That thing's going to go into the grave with me.
You just told me you were going to sell it to me. What the heck, Ben?
Hey. Only maybe if they release a new guy, but that's all right. That'd be the only way. That'd be the only way.
So Mark is saying he was selling a figure, but it was the wrong shipper box and the guy backed out. Wow, yeah, there's a very particular group here, and I get that. I'm very particular about a lot of things. So
there was one just point on the rooms and stuff. I think so. Like, yeah, I do listen to a lot of live streams that you probably have no interest in, and then you watch those housewives I have no interest in. But it's nice.
Like Jada, his stuff is cool because it's, you know, I like those figure based
the posing and stuff.
Yeah,
he's a very good eye, and his production qualities are brilliant.
So I'll sit down, like we come in from work, whoever's home first gets to put on whatever on TV first. So if it's me, it's going to be like a Housewives. With him, it's a stream or a Bitcoin or like a figure kind of video. So
but I think it's even, you said it yourself about like, there has to be, like, you know, a lot of people out there in relationships whose other halves spend a lot of money on handbags and shoes. And that's fair enough. Like, okay, people would argue you only need one pair of shoes, but some people collect shoes. Like some people, like male and female, whether it's Air Force Ones or Dunks or whether it's like, you know, I don't know, Louboutins or whatever, like, or handbags. Like, it's just the kind of yin and the yang, isn't it? It's just the opposite end of the spectrum.
That's right.
So like you have basically a walk-in room. What would you call it?
Wardrobe, kind of wardrobe, dressing room.
You know, I think we do things fair.
So are you a handbag collector then, Megan? Is it fair to say that?
Yeah, ish. But I like kind of particular, like Shane. Like I'd only get something that I really, really want and need, I suppose, as well. It's on like a needs kind of basis, I suppose, too.
Well, that's awesome. Yeah, you know, I can appreciate a nice handbag. Our friend just brought out this YSL bag that she recently purchased. I didn't even know what the brand was. I was like, what does that stand for? But I was like, you know, that's a beautiful like piece of art. Like it's I don't know that it's worth the price, but these things aren't really worth the price. So at the end of the day, it's just whatever people will pay for it.
And I think Warren Buffett, like this could probably come from the Bitcoin type of thing, like where there's an argument that has no intrinsic value, blah, blah. I think it was Warren Buffett said, like, you know, the price is what you pay, but the value is what you get.
There you go.
The Mark 6, I got that Sideshow exclusive Hot Toys diecast Mark 6 with the base and everything. My first Ironman, that's going nowhere. Like, do you know what I mean? I'll fight people for it if I have to. Like, you know, it's mine. It's there. I could sell it. I think it's going for about 1,000 on eBay at the moment. Maybe to get it reissued. Maybe I could sell it and buy the reissue. But I just you wait then 2 years and it's gone for 2 years. And it's like, how many times would you walk past that figure and go, and that looks class, like, so it's
if it gives you those feels and it's worth the value.
Exactly.
Let me address a few things. Oh, go ahead, Ben. Go ahead.
Sorry, quick side question, Shane. Do you have any figures that you regret buying, or that you walk by and that you don't love?
Honestly, no. This is the thing. I'll say I collect, but I prefer the term curate. I am particular, and like Megan will definitely attest to that. Like this, yeah, I am particular. I tend not to dopo. I have done so before. I have the 6 Scale Scavengers 2 of those dopo t-shirts. I love them.
Oh no.
I love the t-shirts. I think it's just cool. I wore them before in some of the live streams or whatever. But or on one of the episodes I have. But I have dopoed. I tend not to day one pre-order. I tend to go let it sit for a week or two and then go right and then get on a payment plan. So it means that I think about what I want, and if you do get excited, you get caught up in the hype, which I don't really tend to do. At least if you don't order it, then about a week later and you still want it, fair enough. If you don't. It means that, you know, Dopo lives on, Chris. Dopo lives on.
You watch the video, like if he likes a particular figure, like you'll watch videos on it.
Yeah.
Like a lot of videos
from everyone.
And over a few kind of days before you decide really.
Yeah.
And Megan, you know, on that point, you're like, you were mentioning there's the artistic videos that kind of showcase the figures and are beautifully shot, like some YouTubers do. And then there's the people talking around, you know, sitting around talking about figures. And that's an even more niche thing that we always have on. I know I'm the same way. Like first thing in the morning, I'm listening to streams and Gigi was like, can we just have some silence here? Do you really need to have something on it every second? There's just too many streams to catch up on. But
yeah, I can only imagine. Yeah.
At least we've made friends. 6 months of the year, we should just swap houses, and Gigi can continue that silence with Megan, and we three can join the same living room and watch streams, play with toys. Good times, man.
The only thing is, like, if you want to come to Ireland, I hope you like rain, because the sun is something that we've only read about in books, man.
Oh no.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. I did want to shout out the chat a little bit here. So I do have my brothers from, I don't know if you guys ever watched the 6 Scale Economist, but he was, right. He was on
What
with
happened
the
to
6 Scale Scavengers. No one knows. It's an unsolved mystery, but I'm still in a 6 Scale Economist group. And so Big Dog Pound, we got Pokey, who I'm trying to figure out how to ban here. We've got Popsick, Pops, good to see you, man. So thank you guys for coming to bomb this chat and joining in on this. But it's just funny, like we were talking about community. Like he doesn't do live streams anymore, but we're still in a group where we all chat, and it's like it still lives on. So it's just such a great way to connect with people. So let's humor me here and let's go way back. And Ben, I'm going to direct this one to you, since I don't know that we got into this last stream. When you were younger, did you collect action figures, or like what was the closest thing to Hot Toys that you collected? Because I kind of see that as the gateway for me. So just curious what you collected, and then Shane, that'll be a question to you, and then Megan, if applicable. Wow, Cobra Commander. Whoa, what is this one?
So this was one of the first, what I would say is closest to 6 Scale figures that I had back in the day. I can't believe this guy lasted the test of time, honestly. I mean, it's amazing that he even has any paint left on his face. He's got 2 different boots on. I mean, like I'm not even absolutely convinced the pants are for him originally, but I collected a lot of stuff, man. I brought a little bit of show and tell because I anticipated you might ask. Last week we did Pose Wars with Power Rangers. Last week we did Pose Wars with Power Rangers. My mom, when I was a kid, used to get me these guys. I don't remember if you remember these back at Christmas, and the diamond shaped boxes.
That hits me in the feels, because I remember lining up at Toys R Us. My parents were angels for waiting, like it might have even been the winter before Christmas, waiting hours to like get, they had like a lottery to get these. Like this was the hot ticket back in the day.
One of the figures I found recently is an old Jeff Goldblum. Sorry. An old Jeff Jurassic Park figure, yeah.
That's hilarious, man.
I can't believe he still has his paint with him, which is awesome. And then I remember, back in the day, some of the movies that came out, like I was young at the time, Phantom Menace. When the Phantom Menace came out for Star Wars, I'd loved the original trilogy as a kid. I watched it on repeat, and then the Phantom Menace came out, and for me, it was like the right age group for that, and and so I collected these guys like crazy. And I mean, they used to get passed around on the playground with that little microphone that you could click this thing into and hear their voice and all that kind of stuff, right? So, and then lastly, a couple of things. One quick story. So my stepdad in Owen Sound was recently cutting his grass, and he said, "Hey, I've sent you a package in the mail." And I said, "Oh, that's random. Okay, sure." Well, I guess when I was a kid, I used to collect Ninja Turtles like crazy. The little Ninja Turtles.
Same.
And I mean, like, this is kind of just, again, an example of one of the guys that I had. Now, would you believe it? He found this on our lawn 20 years after I lost it. It somehow got buried out near where my old playground used to be on our yard, and got buried in the grass.
Somehow got buried. Your ass buried it, Ben. You already
100%. You're not wrong, right? and it got buried for, I'm not kidding, it had to have been out there for 20 years. And the paint on this thing is still amazing.
Looks pristine.
Which makes me wonder, is there lead in this? We used to play these a lot as a kid, right?
Early 90s, who knows?
How is that even possible? So, and then the only other thing that I brought for you guys was old animated Batman series figures.
Is it Man Bat? Is that the
Man Bat?
Oh, I had
that. I vaguely remember it, yeah.
Yep. And I collected the old Playmates Star Trek figure lines because I used to watch Star Trek with my mom all the time. Data. Yep. And so I was all over the place, man. I collected everything. If it was a cool show, if I connected to that thing, if I had nostalgia or a memory, like I said in my stream last week, if it was represented a loved one or a friend or a family member, if it meant something to my heart, I collected them. And I still have them to this day. I've got this little toy box in the maintenance room that houses all these little guys and stuff. And it's pretty cool. But now in my 6 Scale game, it's the same thing. They're just more premium, they look a little cooler, a little more realistic, and they've slowly swapped out the collection. So,
that's beautiful, Ben. That's so cool that you still have this stuff too. And Shane, I'm going to ask you that same question as well, but let me just address two things here. First, Danny Lee, thank you for joining. He wants the blue wrench so he can ban everyone. So Danny, I'm going to have Zach show me how to do that next time you're up for the blue wrench. And then we also got my buddy Daniel, so another 6-scale scavenger group member. And so he actually sold me the Superman, the BVS Superman that's in my display, and gave me a great deal on that. So thanks for joining, Daniel. Appreciate that, man. And then let's see, we had, I think we have Shauna here in the chat. He told me it was Man Bat, and I thought he made it up. Knock off. No, that's now you're gonna have to make her watch the animated series episode of Man Bat.
She actually laughed too. She was like, "Oh, that like, there's no way that's the, like Man Bat."
Flea market Batman.
I'm like, no, seriously, that's his name.
That's awesome. So Shane, same question to you. What did you collect when you were younger? Did you do action figures, or what kind of led you to this path to Hot Toys?
I think it was a 1989 Batman, I think, because one of the nicest kind of memories I have as a kid was, it must have been Christmas '89 because the movie would have come out, maybe '90, and I remember asking my parents were wondering what I wanted for Christmas, like, and it was like, turtles were massive at the time, it was like a global phenomenon. And then, but I really liked because the film was out. I'm not sure if I'd even seen it. It was just trailers, because I grew up watching the 1966 the Batman and Robin with the wham and the pow and all the real cheesy stuff. And you're a kid, like, you don't know. And but then when I saw the 1989 Batman, I was like, this is different. Even as a kid, I knew this is not for kids. Like, this is a dark film with definitely complex themes, which I did not understand. And then I watched it when I was older, but it was a Christmas, and I had asked for like I think Batman and the Batwing, because I just was obsessed with anything that flew. And I remember Christmas, I must have been 6 or 7. It's either 89 or 90 anyway, because the film was definitely out, because there were the Kenner Batman and Joker. I still remember the little ones. Like,
heck yeah.
Yeah, those little ones, and it had like the cape and the grappling hook, and the Joker had a little thing you put in its back, and you fill it with water and you squeeze it, and
that was as cool as it gets back in the day.
Oh, that was as cool as it get. And the Batwing had you could put the Batman in, and it had this little kind of a handle you could hold on to, and you pull the trigger, and the little that the scissors came out from in the film. And I just remember, like, that's one of like the coolest, best Christmas, one of my earliest memories, and I loved that Christmas. And I remember thinking, like, there was something about that movie. It was like, I almost felt like I should have been watching, like, I knew there was things going on that I didn't understand, but it was just Batman was in it, and I knew, I think I'm going to like this. It was like, it almost seemed like it was sustainable to like it when you were older. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was like, I don't think I'm going to, because, like, the turtles were cool and all, but I grew out with them. Like, even Transformers, loved Transformers as a kid, but with the exception of maybe one Masterpiece series that I have now, I kind of grew out of it. I collected some carded figures like Ben did. Then when The Matrix came out, loved that, and I got some of I still have the 2 series of McFarlane, series 1 and 2 figures that they made for The Matrix, which they're pretty phenomenal figures.
Oh, for The Matrix, wow.
Yeah, I still have them, but to be honest, I'm going to sell all my carded figures, and I'm going to sell all the Matrix carded figures. Are all still boxed up, because again, for me, it's about sustainability. It's about space. Every collector, it's money in space, right? And
that's what it comes down to.
Exactly. And like, I'm never going to display the carded figures personally, so like, they will be sold. It's just a question of when. But as soon as I saw those Hot Toys and saw the detail and the meticulous details, the head sculpt, the tailoring, just the skill and art, I do think there are pieces of art on a shelf. That was it. What I liked about it was, I'm not going to leave this in the box. I'm able to take this out and display it. And it was just a bit more kind of adult. I know we're still grown men collecting toys, right? No way around it. But they were just they're just on a different level. So so I did always collect, but for me, Hot Toys was the first time where I was like, wait a second, I can actually carry this into adulthood and actually display them. So it was nice. It was a nice graduation, like, so Yeah, that's pretty much
And I
it.
think you hit the nail on the head there. They are much closer to art than really any of the other things we collected when we were younger. They are really the grown up versions of those, but they're such beautiful display pieces that I think a lot of people, non collectors, can appreciate them. They really kind of
And
make
Marco, I was looking at the chat here while Shane was talking. SJF asked us if we ever remembered Street Sharks or Beetleborgs.
I
Street
remember
Sharks.
Yeah.
Street Sharks were awesome because they had that like rubbery material in their back, and you could kind of adjust their mouths a little bit and stuff. Those were really cool. And then I was trying to show Mark here the Beetleborg because I actually pulled him out of the box that was beside me here. I mean, he's yellowed pretty bad, but one of the old school Beetleborgs. There's only one of the three that I still have kicking around. But so funny what is nostalgia for people, right?
That's right. What year were those,
how old I am,
Beetleborgs?
You know what? That's a good question, dude. I must have been less than 10 years old. I was born in 87, so somewhere kind of in the mid 90s for sure.
So Megan, that same question to you, if applicable, did you collect anything when you were younger? I know my wife Gigi was like really big into Pokemon, and I don't recall what Shauna said she collected when she was younger, but anything that's applicable at all?
Barbie dolls was what I had. Like Christmas, birthdays, it was Barbie, 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 everything. I even had a plane. I had a camper van. The plane had like the trolley for the air hostess with little ice cubes that would come out, like for the drinks. Like, and I got like a pile of Barbie, and so it was Barbie dolls. But I suppose to link in what I kind of like your topic, I suppose, like I have an older brother, so he would have had a lot of Star Wars stuff. So I was exposed to Star Wars, and I remember I did like the Phantom Menace, and I had it was like a paper doll of like Queen Amidala, and you had this like book where you pulled out outfits and you just like clicked them onto the paper doll. So I remember that was my exposure like to Star Wars, I think when I was about maybe 5 or 6 years old. But Barbies was my main thing, and then I don't know, Bratz dolls. I don't know if anyone's heard of them.
I think I think Shauna mentioned both Barbies and Bratz.
Bratz dolls, because Bratz were just like a level up on like the Barbie dolls. They're a bit more kind of badass, I suppose. And
they're called Bratz for a reason.
Yeah, they're Bratz. But but I kind of like I laugh sometimes looking at the way everyone collects these like collectibles and stores them. And I know Shane was showing me some people who have really good organizers for the accessories. Like I would have had stuff like that for the Barbie dolls, like these kind of fancy kind of plastic pockets where you put all their outfits in and you'd choose here and different areas and stuff. And I had a travel case for the Bratz dolls that this dolls could like sit into and stuff. So like that was my version, I suppose, of a shipper box, was the travel cases.
That's my girl.
Yeah. So I appreciate, and like we were saying, like these figures are so amazing. Like anyone, like I've shown pictures of them to my friends and they're like, wow, like they're really cool, and the likeness and in the features of the face and things like that. So but definitely what I collected was not something I knew I was going to be collecting until
it's like my father's old school, like he's really like he's really old school, like, but I am looking forward to him because to showing him the house properly and then showing him the room as well, because he'll kind of like how I put it together more than anything, like you know what I mean. But even like it's exactly what you said. You can show it to someone who has no interest, and you look at the head sculpt and that Robert Downey Jr. Everyone knows who Iron Man is. You get a good head sculpt like the Mark 47 or the 85 battle damage. It's like they know who it is. Like it's shocking. Like
it's crazy.
So how do you think your dad's going to react when he finds out the price of these things?
My dad, I couldn't give a flying fiddler's fandango, man. Like, I presume we're not swearing here. That's why I'm not using the real words.
More swearing the better, to be honest. Gigi and I are pretty...
Do you know what?
That was super creative, though. I like that.
Yeah.
Who doesn't like a bit of alliteration? Like,
Fiddler's fandango. Wow, I'm still in that one.
Yeah. But no, look, it's... it's funny, actually. Like, my father taught me things without actually sitting me down and teaching me things. And it's what I learned from him. And it does tie in with this. You pay your bills first. Like, do you know what I mean? Whatever you do after that, you pay your bills, you do your bit of saving. If you're lucky enough then to have a bit of spare cash, no one can tell you what to do with it. It's up to you. Like,
yeah, no, that's a beautiful segue. So I do want to ask you that question. I would just say the reason I ask is because my dad will come in here and he still has, like, he and I collected sports figures, and so he was the one that got me into collecting and spoiled me with action figures when I was a kid. But when I tell him the price, he's like, "You pay what?" and just shakes his head. And I'm like, "Motherfucker, you're the reason for this. Don't you even?"
Yeah.
But so on what you were saying about making sure your bills are paid first, do you have a strategy on how you can kind of maintain balance and how you kind of make room for hot toys in the budget or in your life?
I don't budget. I don't budget. I have that's like, I think budgeting in a way is kind of like saying, oh, I'm on a diet. It's more like I develop healthy habits. Do you know, whether that's with eating or exercising. So it's same with financial habits. Like, so for me, I don't buy any of the stuff on credit card. If it's not your money, it's like you don't. It's not, shouldn't be you to spend it. Like, you'll need your credit card for other things when your car breaks down or when you have to buy a credit card. So I don't. That's the first thing. I don't use credit cards. I'm a big fan of the payment plan because I don't care that there's a lead time of 18 months, and realistically, like, whatever time it says it's going to drop, whatever quarter it's going to drop on Sideshow, we all know you can add 3 to 6 months, best case scenario. So the payment plan gives you time to tip away and pay $50 every month, as opposed to being hit with 250. Because we're in Ireland, like, if you order your basic Stormtrooper from Sideshow, let's just say you get a $220 Stormtrooper, that's still costing $40 minimum to get over here. If something's bigger or heavier, the price goes up. Then import duty is about 30%, and it's calculated based on the cost of the figure and the shipping. So you could be talking another
30%. Wow.
Yeah, and like, I don't even know. Like, there's a more complicated way of looking at it, but basically, like, what came in the other day, the Mark 85 battle damage came in the other day. Now, I got it from Hong Kong. That's a different story, but it was €60 to customs. You know what I mean? €60. That's like $80. So now there are other places that apparently don't. They kind of mark down the value, so that's going to happen. So you don't get caught for as much, but
or it's a gift or something like
that.
Right?
Yeah. But so yeah, that's the first thing. I'm a fan of the payment plan. I don't use a credit card. I do think it comes down to curating. We all collect. I do prefer the term curate because you can't get everything. Time, money, space. And I don't think I want everything. A lot of the stuff they release, I just have no interest in. Like, so I think the 3 golden rules I have is that I have to like the character, I have to like the source material, and I like to have that version of the character. So if you take the battle damage Thanos in front of me, I love that character and I love what Josh Brolin did with it and the whole Infinity Saga. So that's check 1. Did I like the source material? Oh yeah. Infinity War, Endgame, the likeness. And do I like that version out of 3 Thanos? That's the version. So, that's a slam dunk, like, The final thing then, use your points, use your discount codes. Don't dopo, give it a bit of time, wait for those 10% off, the likes of Black Friday, stuff like that. Yeah, just shop around. I have no loyalties to any of these companies. Whoever gets me the product the cheapest, they're the ones that are getting my money.
That's right.
Why would you I don't know why you promote any sort of company. I'll buy from Sideshow one day, eBay another day, adverts.ie another day, Toys Buying Agent, whoever gets that particular item for the cheapest.
Just being a shrewd consumer, shop.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
what are your thoughts on like Spider-Man, for example? Then, so like if you're a Spider-Man fan, do you see every iteration of Spider-Man as like a different figure? Do you see it as the same character in your collection? Do you collect suits that like resonate with you specifically, or is it more of a I just love that suit, or you want to collect them all? Like, how do you do that?
I think the resonates part. I rule out certain IPs and certain versions. So I'm not a gamer. Megan's delighted I'm not a gamer. I've never got into games. I have played computer games. I think they're great. I love blown away by the graphics and stuff. Blown away. But not a gamer. So I automatically rule out any of the Spider-Man from that PS4 game, which I heard is unbelievable.
Even the classic suit, huh?
Yeah, no, I won't. I won't do it. It's just like, no. Like, I mean, I could, but like, the rules apply like 99% of the time. But I'm pretty disciplined when it comes to no. I just don't. It's easier for the wallet and the space. I rule out that. I haven't watched the Clone Wars. I'm working my way through it. But even if I love it, which I'm sure I will, ruling out Clone Wars. So, The
There's so
prequels
much there.
are the sequels are I believe are dumpster fire. So no interest in them, right? And so won't do it. And again, my opinion, if anyone's watching and anyone's like, can't believe you just said that about it shouldn't evoke any sort of an emotional reaction. It's just an opinion.
You've been canceled now. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
If someone told me there's like, you know what, I think The Dark Knight sucks and it's highly overrated, good for you. Do you know what I mean? That's okay. That's okay.
We're throwing hands
if
someone talks.
I would hit the red alert button in the back. Turn the stream off real quick.
Interesting you say that though. So Lael was talking about how he was walking out of the Batman, and some kids in the theater were like, "Oh, this is so much better than the Dark Knight," and I was just like, "That's a tough take right there, Ben." Because you haven't seen it, we won't go down that road anymore. But
we both watched it last night.
Still the best Batman movie in existence.
I'm sure there's going to be some interesting hot takes on it. I'm excited for it. Stay tuned over the next week for sure.
It's well worth a watch. It's well worth a watch.
So Shane, just to loop back on what you were saying about the finance, I think I'm very much the same way. And Ben, maybe I'll have you. I have a kind of directed question to you since you talked about your habits last week. But I'm a little bit more jazz, is how I describe it when it comes to finding room in the budget. Like, I just kind of trust my gut and what I want and what I think I can afford. I don't put it, I use credit cards, but not to like carry over the balance, just for like cash back, and to like use it to the protections as well.
That's
just use it as a tool that way, but definitely not as a crutch to, carry debt. And I don't have, Gigi and I don't have like a very specified budget like others, which we kind of aspire to have, but I don't like those restraints. Like you said, like a diet, I'm the same way with my diet, whereas maybe I should have those constraints, but I like to, kind of ebb and flow as I feel necessary. And as long as I'm kind of staying within the, within my area of comfort and try not to get too out of control, is how I do it. But that being said, if you get too many pre-orders stacking on top of each other, it can definitely become tricky. So there is something to being a bit more disciplined. And so, Ben, that's my question to you. When it comes to this new Batman that we've got the Bat Signal version that's $515. What's really the calculus that you go through to find out, is that something that you might want? Is there room in the budget for it?
Yeah, that's an amazing question. So I did see it yesterday, and I saw that a couple people, I think including yourself, has already, hit that pre-order button. And
Ben, what the heck, bro? That stays amongst us. Gigi's in the chat. Come on.
Sorry. I mean, it was somebody else totally in the chat.
You threw him under the bus, man.
Of like $10 or $15. We're good. So there's still time to back out. But I think the hardest part about that question for me is every time I see something like that, I want it. But for me, one of those ways that I at least make the decision to start budgeting for it is usually to see a review on it, to see somebody else have it either in hand or better photos, some of the Ryan Kirkwood videos that are pictures that are out there, or some of the other guys who take really great photography right there in Hong Kong, like, or at Secret Base, that's what really starts to get the juices flowing. And then, like Shane was saying, if you want something bad enough, you will find a way to get it, whether that's 2 years of small payments, and at the end of it, you figure achieved, you got it, right? The other part that I do have a hard time factoring in, which is one of the reasons I really do wait for those reviews, is that, again, in Canada, we don't have a sideshow here. We don't have anything like that. And so we also have the customs charges and the taxes and the duties and the shipping and all of those things. So when I look at a figure online, that's $275. And, we all know those figure prices are, they're on the rise a little bit. They've been slowly coming up. When I started, they were in the $225 range, $230 range. Now, kind of the standard figure is $275 or higher. A $500 Batman with the light and everything, Canadian, that's going to cost me $750, $800 by the time I get it here with the conversions and everything. So it does take a long time to plan for and make sure that it's something that I really want. And I have had that experience now where, I did go do that, that FOMO buy, and, I bought the Batman Begins because everybody was saying, it's going to go out of stock. You're not going to be able to get one. And I loved the video game so much that I was like, okay, like, heck with it. It might not fit my collection, but I'm just going to buy it anyways because I'm a Batman fan and I love the game, right? Those were my two reasons to myself, that justification. And I didn't really wait for much of the in-hand videos, and I didn't do my research like I normally do, like by watching all the streams and everything. Just really like one or two videos I saw that, set that FOMO in motion. And when I got it in hand, it was head and shoulders bigger than any of my other movie realistic figures. And it drove me nuts because I was like, on one hand, it's such an expensive purchase. I just spent all this money to get it here. It's beautiful. But because it doesn't fit, just doesn't fit the collection, doesn't fit the cabinet that I've got, I questioned myself, like, why didn't I do my homework a little better? Like, the measurements are on the website. I could have known how tall that guy was long before he was in my hand. But it was the FOMO that forced the decision. It wasn't a calculated or a curated decision. So long story short, I think if you want it, figure out a way to get it. But don't necessarily, follow your own hype and follow your own gut checks and make sure you do the homework, do the research, because on those times where somebody comes and looks at your collection and says, well, why do you have that? I want to really be able to say it means something to me, every figure that's in there. And every figure that I think is cool, Shane's got so many figures behind him there that I'm like, they're awesome. But I'm able to appreciate that more at a distance, and I don't necessarily need a Shore Trooper in my collection to think that it's one of the most beautiful displays that he's got in the pack there, right? And I can appreciate that through other people's collection while I slowly save that money to curate for myself.
Really well said, Ben. And so I wanted to address a few things in the chat, and then I have a question for you, Shane. And Megan. So damn, Marco caught for tax evasion. We also got Riley reviews in here. Riley, what's going on? And I also forgot to give a shout out to SpongeBob SquareBowls, who will be coming on the show here in the near future. Thomas, great guy. So we really want to have him on for a conversation. But since the cat's already out of the freaking bag, I guess I'll address it. I did pre-order the Batman with the bat signal. And let me give everyone some insight, because we try to lean towards the financial portion of it. I don't pre-order unless there's like a financial incentive for me to do so. And the worry with that is that you're locked in and you don't get, potentially a cheaper price. If it comes out way cheaper in Hong Kong in the future, you're kind of locked in. But, I found a retailer, only a $15 NRD and $5 shipping, no sales tax. And so for me, I'm like, this is going to be a big set. The shipping's probably going to be, I went on, another retailer, kind of looked at what it would be. It was damn near $50. And so I'm like, to me, at the end of the day, to lock in a really good value on a figure that I know I'm going to get, it seems like a no-brainer because it's only $15. That can get you in trouble if you do it too often. And so I really do it sparingly. But that's kind of the rationale behind why I would lock it in now versus, waiting to the future. So I guess, Shane, let me ask a question to you. And then Megan, my question is this a conversation that you normally have when, so let me start off here. Shane, the Batman figure, right? There's 3 iterations. What's the process that you go through to figure out if it's something that you're going to be bringing home into the collection? And is it a conversation that you and Megan have? Obviously, you mentioned you keep your finances separate. So how do those conversations go?
There is no conversation.
Okay, fair enough.
But he kind of almost has permission now to buy that Batman, because I actually sent him a post on Instagram yesterday and I wrote, "Oh, sick, bro," as a joke. But then he was like, "Oh yeah, I saw that message."
Enabler.
Yeah.
You can't give us an inch, Megan.
Enabler. Yeah, no, the funniest one was because I think I told you a story already. I'm going to tell it anyway. She follows the Hot Toys Collectibles official Instagram account.
You're in deep now. You're in too deep.
Yeah, I'm telling you. That's how it starts. That's how they get you. And they do brat stalls now. You're in trouble. But and I came home from work and I was like, "Oh, did you see they released the Doc Ock?" And I went to show the photos. She goes, "Head sculpt's not great though." And I was like, "That's my girl," because it's not. It will be. It's not,
yeah. But like you're saying, that there is no conversation because it's his money, it's his hobby. So
it's not as if like,
as long as he
the mortgage is due, but I'm going to buy a Batman character. Like, no, it's good. I think we're in a good position, but I think there's something you mentioned on that, like Robert Pattinson, like I know Ben hasn't seen it, and people in the chat probably haven't, so I'm not going to give anything away. But from the trailers, I was like, yeah, I'm not going that suit. And it has grown on me, but it's still, no, it's not going to be, I'll still put Keaton or the two Bell suits over it. But it definitely has grown on me. Actually, the figure itself, the photos of the figure have made me appreciate the details in the suit more, because the trailers were so quick and dark. It's very hard to see the little parts. But the fact that they're giving you the option to get the signal with the figure, and that has knocked out of the park head sculpt. The interchangeable mouthpieces, the power system, the wired cape, the diorama base that lights up in two different ways, the bat signal as well.
Loaded.
That is a fantastic release. Now, you know that Wayne's World, when he's talking about the guitar, it will be mine. Oh yes.
Yes.
It will be. Like, that's a fact, but I haven't pre-ordered it because I'm noticing there's a lot of changes going on at the moment. I know people hate Toys Wonderland, or a lot of people, they get a lot of hate. The Mark 85 Battle Damage that I'm looking at right here, I got for like $246. I cancelled my one with Sideshow that I had paid off for 6 months. I got my NRD back because it delayed, because I saw Toys Wonderland were selling it. Even though their shipping's a bit higher and I had to pay my customs, still worked out about like $100, $150 saved.
Incredible.
The Iron Patriot is $469 on Sideshow. I actually paid for that outright on Toys Wonderland for $230. $230. So I'm wondering, like, what I'm noticing now, the pattern that I'm noticing is that Toys Wonderland are getting them first, and they know they have a window of maybe about 3 months before Sideshow gets them. They're selling them for the regular high price. And then as soon as Sideshow starts shipping, they're dropping down their prices. That's just a pattern that I've noticed. And maybe that won't continue. But you got to ask yourself this. They're going to produce so many of those Batman figures. They are not going to sell out. Hot Toys are not limited. So if you have patience in this game, you're in business. So I'm nearly thinking, as an experiment, just go, I'm not going to get them. I'm not going to hit that pre-order button. And I'm going to wait until, say, 3 months after it's been released in Hong Kong and Sideshow starts the shipping, and I'm going to check Toys Wonderland, because it's almost like Toys Wonderland are going, right, Sideshow has it now. Drop down our prices, we'll still make a small margin.
And that's the thing. There's such a large delta between the price in Hong Kong and the U.S. or North American distributors, that they kind of can afford to sell it much, much cheaper. So that seems like a really smart strategy, and definitely like one that I do for most figures, I would say. But
there is a caution, and like, again, I have to address it because it is something to be worried about. Sideshow's aftercare service, whether you like them or not, is fantastic. You're not going to get the same thing from a Hong Kong reseller. You are taking a risk. So, it arrives in your house and it's not the right figure. I've heard horror. I've never had that situation, but I've heard horror stories. You order an Iron Man, you get a Cody, or something's broken, and you get back to them and they say, "Oh, ship it back to us," and they won't pay for shipping. Whereas Sideshow won't even question it. Sideshow will send you out like whatever part you're missing, or like I've done it twice. I had a problem with the Mark 47 is notorious for the magnets. When the magnets wasn't sticking, I got onto Sideshow. They sent out the panel within a week. Didn't have to pay any shipping. Nothing. There was another Stormtrooper had the label on the stand was wrong. Got onto them. No questions asked. No problem, sir. Sent it out. Like, they have great customer service. You're not going to get that from a Hong Kong reseller. You are taking a risk.
Have you bought any spare parts from like Toys Anxiety or anything like that as well, or do you always go back to like Sideshow, for example?
Oh well, if I bought a figure from Sideshow and it arrives substandard, there's a no-brainer. I go back to Sideshow. It's just, and the thing is, if it happened with Hong Kong, with Toys Wonderland or a Hong Kong-based reseller, I'd be doing the same thing. I'd be like, no, I'm not shipping that back to you. You're going to pay for it to be shipped. And I don't think they would, but I would still argue that point, because at the end of the day, like, if they log on, they see, look at all the stuff I've ordered with you. I would literally stop ordering with you, and they mightn't care. But if enough people do that, then they'll be like, okay, we kind of need to have some sort of an aftercare program here.
Definitely starts to affect the business for sure, just overall. Because like I've been looking at Toy Anxiety even just for extra Stormtrooper helmets, or like I noticed my Spider-Man hand, how I've got him positioned behind me. just a little bit loose on the wrist peg, to the point where sometimes he'll fall into his own self. But I got him from Sideshow, so I may contact them and see about the hand at some point, because obviously before it gets to be too far in.
There you go.
Toys Anxiety, that's a brilliant idea. Like, just for anyone in the chat who maybe doesn't know them, they buy figures, they break them down into parts. So if you're missing a certain part, you can go onto them and order that certain part. I think that's a fantastic idea. Like, it's clever. Like, you know.
It actually blew my mind when I got into Hot Toys collecting that there wasn't more of a dedicated service for something like that through the bigger retail like Sideshow or even just Hot Toys Direct, you know, that like if you needed a spare part, you have to buy a whole new figure. Like that's crazy. There's such premium collectibles. Like, it blows my mind that you can't, especially because they're posable. They're not just statues in a fixed position. You know what I mean? They're meant to be tweaked and, you know, articulated and all that good stuff. I mean, it makes sense, I guess, from their business perspective, right? If you need another one, I guess buy another one. And people would parcel them together and kit bash all the time, and then they probably end up losing money ultimately, right? If you don't care about the box, or if you don't need all the hands, you don't need all the eyes, you could probably build a figure cheaper. But yeah, that blew my mind when it came to collecting in this world.
Absolutely. So Megan, this next question is for you. I think we're going to probably be wrapping up here soon because, Shane, I know you've got a full evening, and this question actually directly relates to this. Really quickly, let me address the chat. We've got my cousin J-Mo in here. J-Mo, what's going on? He's liking the Gambit. Yeah, man. I've been pressuring him to get his first hot toy, but his girlfriend is kind of they don't have space just yet, so they're holding off. But so Megan, the question for you is, how do you really find the time? I think you alluded to it with the Real Housewives, but how do you find the time to have time together when there's so much going on? You got your own hobbies. Shane's got the, work and streaming and thinking about his collection and ordering. How do you find the time to spend time together?
Well, we'll always try and do something at the weekends, whether we go mountain biking, that's like a whole day kind of together. Because it does take up most of your day. Like, we were at the cinema last night seeing Batman, and even midweek we might just kind of say, oh, we put a movie on tonight. Like, maybe there'll be a day where there isn't a stream or something, or I won't have anything on. But we'll always do. There's always at least one, if not two evenings, I think, in the week where we'll sit down together and make sure we watch something. And it doesn't even feel like it. I never have to think about, oh, we must do something together. It kind of just happens, really, doesn't it?
Yeah. And we live together, so we kind of see each other around from time to time, Yeah. Saw you on the stairs there today. Yeah.
But yeah, I suppose I think because I haven't really been that busy myself with my own hobbies. I'm in a musical society and we're not doing any shows at the moment, just with COVID and everything. We haven't gotten back up and running yet, but in normal times, if I was doing a show, I would be gone 2 evenings a week. I'd be home quite late, and coming up to the show, all my Sundays would be gone. And then the 2 weeks of the show, I'm kind of gone every single night, really. So we haven't really had that in the last 2 years or so. So maybe ask us that maybe next year. We'll see. It's a different answer to that.
But
it's on for an update.
It's a great just on that, say, and if that happens, then if you're going away 2 nights a week, that's when right, I'll factor in okay, that's where I need to do my recording. So I built out a bunch of pre-order preview videos. I do some photography so that it's not cutting into that. It's just managing, and as well, because the last few weeks have been really, really good fun, because I've been, on Lael's stream, Brother Cousins here. I'm on Only Foods and Collection on Thursday night, and then Aaron Nogan's later on tonight, and then Anthony's, and there's so much going on, and just getting a bit of traction, which has been fantastic. And it's the start of something, and then I'll have to go, okay, how am I going to manage this? Okay, when am I going to record the pre-order previews? When am I going to take figure photography? When I'm going to do whether it's collection tours, and just block that off and then box it off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I would like to do live streams. I think I'm going to wait, and I do. Obviously, any new YouTuber wants to hit 1,000 subs, so. If you want to help, if you go to 16figure focus on YouTube and subscribe, if that time comes, I think then I'll maybe do a live stream once a week, but it'll be a European friendly time, because I have had people reach out on Instagram going, it'd be great if you started streaming. That was kind of like a normal time for Europe, so that
then
you
can hit a different market there as well.
Yeah, exactly. But at the same time, the reason I did this is to start connecting and talking to people like yourself. So it'd be always like, I love coming onto the streams and I love talking about collecting, and so that'd be cool,
Absolutely. No, well, thank you for sharing that insight, because, the reason I asked that question is I think we do find it hard to balance, because it's so easy to get out of control, right? Gigi, she's working this weekend, so we'll see each other. I've got plans this evening, so we'll see each other passingly maybe tonight, and then tomorrow, wild card. So I've got to prioritize. We could maybe do another live stream and do an unboxing of two of the things that I've had sitting here that I've wanted to unbox for a while. Or maybe we'll watch, Real Housewives or Love is Blind or something, something that she enjoys watching. And so it's, trying to take that into consideration, because before streaming Monday, Tuesday, and all of a sudden it's the end of the week and you haven't prioritized each other. And so it sounds like you guys have got it all figured out and really.
Oh, we don't. We definitely don't. We don't. No.
But the fact that it's, you just find time to do it, right? You're not out of balance because you're just plugging in as needed. It's really beautiful. Yeah. So
thank you.
Let's see, we got Big Dog Pound taken out here. Oh, good to see you. Thank you for stopping by. JMO saying he bought his girlfriend Justin Bieber tickets instead of a few Hot Toys. There you go. Happy wife. That's right.
That's a good man.
That's right. Really. Okay, that's Equan saying there. So yeah, I think that, Ben, did you have anything else to add to that conversation? I knew you and Shauna kind of talked about, she plays The Sims while you're, watching your streams or streaming. Anything else that maybe wasn't mentioned last week?
Well, and it's funny, because even 1 week later, the perspective or perception has changed a little bit, right? Even, when we talked about it last week, I'd only been really just watching a lot of streams and, kind of participating in the chats as a moderator. But even this week, I've already been on, I think, 3 or 4 shows, which does take up a lot of evening. And, if you could see the other side of the camera here, like I have spread out all over this basement room. Like you couldn't sit down here and play a game very easily with me in this setup, right? So I think that prioritizing of the time is really important. Even on Thursday night this week, there wasn't a stream I was invited to. There wasn't something that I just had to watch on one of the streams somewhere else. And so we tried our best to do a technology-free night for the night. We put our cell phones down. We got in bed early, watched RuPaul's Drag Race, which was kind of fun, and just snuggled, right, and just hung out. And she ended up still passing out, pretty quick around 10 o'clock, because usually once she hits the pillow, it's not long for this world, but. I still ended up poking Marco there at like midnight with some logo ideas and everything, right? So I slowly picked my phone back up. But again, I think it was just prioritizing that feeling and that love life. Because again, as much as I love the figures behind me, as much as I love this basement, if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't have a lot of this. And I would trade everything behind me for that love and the life that I have and the friendships that I've made. And so priority is definitely important. You have to make sure that your partner feels like they are just as much a priority to you as this. And when you do so, that support becomes exponentially greater. She's in the stream today, which is really fun. And I'm getting to meet you guys and making new friends all over the place, right? I mean, I feel a little isolated out here in Calgary for the longest time. I didn't know a single person that collected Hot Toys. So it was a very unspoken thing. I didn't even talk about it. Now suddenly my whole work team knows and everything and all that stuff. So again, it's exploded, but she said she's going to want to come and talk to you as an update if I keep focusing on too much on my phone and not enough on that avocado bacon toast. That was amazing.
Well, it's really, really beautiful what you said, Ben. And no, we'd welcome her back on because it is an ongoing, as we mentioned earlier, it's kind of an ongoing thing. It's really easy to fall out of balance. You think you're doing the right thing and, a week down the line, you're not anymore. So yeah, would love to get an update there.
Well, and similarly, even as I said, I appreciate Gigi, for example, for even like letting me take your time this week, because again, at midnight the other night, I am spamming Marco's phone with logo ideas and channel name ideas and all this stuff. And the guy is like texting me back and all this stuff. At some point, I'm like, you don't have to respond, right? Like you can leave me on red. I'm I'm totally cool with it. So, but again, having even that supportive partner from the other side of the fence, she's been sending me just as much love in the chat as some of the rest of us. And I mean, it's not even totally her bag, right? And so, I mean, that's really cool. That's really cool. So.
And I will say, thank you for saying that. And I will say, Gigi was like, stop pressuring Ben into starting a YouTube channel. And I said, I don't want to pressure him. If I just want to, help if that's what he really wants, right? Like Shane, you and I kind of had a conversation. It was like, at the end of the day, you were already prepped mentally. That's what you wanted, and you were ready to take the leap. And I think Ben, proud of you for, joining as well. And so, yeah, I think it's just so great to be either in the chats or on this side of the camera. It's just such an awesome community. So it's really, really great to talk to you guys about these things. I think with that, maybe we'll wrap up here. And Shane, 1/6 Figure Focus, why don't you tell us what you got going on this evening and on the channel?
Oh my God. So you have another half an hour. Well, at 10 p.m., I'm going to go with Greenwich Mean Time. People can make the conversions. So at 10 p.m., about an hour and a half Greenwich Mean Time. I'm going on Iron Logan's show for like Posed Up. I don't know what he's bringing, but I'm bringing the Mark 85. I'm just going to have a chat and just pose up different figures in different ways. I think he has like he'll give you like different criteria in order to meet them or something like that. But it might be a bit of fun. And then I think it's like 2 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time. I'm on 6Scale Mafia with his channel and a live stream with Anthony. My own channel. I recorded a strange one today. I recorded about 4 pre-order previews today. That's standard. Tomorrow I'll be working on a collection tour and probably another episode, very short episode of Figure Focus. That's where I take one figure from my collection, pose it up in 3 different ways so you get an idea of what it looked like on your shelf. But one I recorded today it's just called My Pre-Order List. And I just go through what I have on pre-order, who I have them with, and if they're paid off or how I chose to pay them off or anything. So it's a bit of a different one. So I'm airing my dirty laundry there, like right. What I have on pre-order with.
I don't even think I know what he has on
Megan,
pre-order.
you're going to find out in the video, huh?
Well, if you like and subscribe, you can find out too. So if anyone out there, first of all, thanks very much for having me. I really appreciate it. Ben, it was really, really nice to meet you. And thanks for coming on. I do appreciate it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Thank you.
She just doesn't give me shit. Like, that's what I love about her. So I'm not as poetic as Ben, but, that's.
Yeah, you need to work on that.
Yeah, I need to work on that. But
Ben, you need to show
if you're into 1/6 scale figure photography, if you want to go to Instagram and follow me at 1/6 Figure Focus, or over on YouTube, if you just go and subscribe to 1/6 Figure Focus. If it's your type of thing, watch a few videos. If you don't like it, I definitely don't expect you to subscribe. But if you do, you're getting some sort of value for it. Maybe it'll help me support the channel and like, comment, and subscribe. And again, subscribe to Ben's and subscribe to 1/6 Fix, please.
Wow, you're so good at that. I need to learn how to to plug a little bit better here.
Oh, the bloopers were terrible. Remember the bloopers? The bloopers were priceless. Like it's lots of mistakes.
It's a bit of practice.
Forgetting how to speak. Yeah.
I mean, a blooper video might actually be funny if you don't already have one on there. That might be something new that I haven't seen really with any other channel.
Yeah, there was loads of them when I started the Bitcoin video about maybe 2 years ago. It was the youth channel 2 years ago. There was oh my God, it was a gag reel for them. But you do get a bit better at it. You definitely do get a bit better at just because you feel like you're talking to your friends. You feel silly recording videos at the start, and then you just go, "Oh, it's just what you do." So you do get a bit better at it. I hopefully.
Absolutely. Well, Shane, thank you so much for coming on. And Megan, thank you for joining this silly conversation as well. It was really great to get your perspective. And
yeah, thank you for having me. It was great to meet you guys.
Absolutely.
And I appreciate
great to meet you.
Yeah.
So we're going to need to have you back on because after you watch that pre-order video, I know you said it's never an issue, but maybe it'll become an issue after that. I don't know. I'm just trying to stir the pot here. But.
Yeah, I know what you're doing. You're not that nice, man.
Since Ben
I got you all wrong.
Bus, yeah, we gotta share the hurt over here. Yeah. But so Ben, why don't you tell us what's going on your newly founded channel as of yesterday, right?
Yeah, as of like 3 o'clock in the morning last night, I posted my first video. It's a bit rough. It's essentially an elaborate slideshow with some fun music and some fun little GIFs in there. But I've said before, it's not my goal to be famous. 1,000 subscribers seems like a really long way away, and who knows? It, it can happen in weeks. It can happen in years. Who knows? My goal is to just be part of the conversation. I've been having a great time with Marco on 1/6 Fix, just making friends. And I've been lucky to have or be invited over to Collecting Weekly now a couple times. I'm going to be on the Pose Wars round 2 next Saturday night. So definitely tune into that, because that's going to be a really fun time. I've got my feet wet with that challenge now, and there's some really tough competitors in that challenge. And so it's definitely worth the watch, even for people who maybe aren't necessarily Hot Toys collectors. It's just a fun competition and something a little different, right? But, it's a weird thing to ask for subscribers. You realize when you're on this side of the fence that there's a little bit more that goes into that button push than you might think, right? And I've always been bad at remembering to like or hit the like button and hit the subscribe button. When I'm the blue wrench and telling people to do it, half the time I'm reminding myself to actually do it. And so if you get a chance, if you're in here, guys, and you haven't already, definitely, take a look at that little video I posted last night. It's really just a teaser for what I want to start coming up with. I'm going to have a couple of different segments on there. I'm thinking Battle of the Basements is something that I'm interested in. I really want to see other people's collections, people who aren't necessarily streaming all the time. I want to look at featuring some of their collection photos that you get to see in the groups, and maybe have a bit of an award system, or at least a cool shout out system in our channels for the cool winners of those weeks. I'm also looking at a podcast idea of like a hot or not type of segment. And for that segment, really, it'll just be talking about movies, television, anything pop culture, figures, statues. And the goal there will really just be to have a discussion as to whether what just came out is going to be hot or it's not, and why, right? And then lastly, I think I'll be posting a couple more videos just of myself talking a little bit. I like going on toy hunts myself, so maybe bring some people along for the ride on those. And hopefully, if I continue to get invited onto some of the channels, you guys will see me there. So if there's an opportunity, Shane, to pop over and join you on a live stream at some point, don't care what time it is. I'm a late person. I'm always up, so I'll figure out a way to be there. And otherwise, Marco, if you ever need another co-host day, if Gigi isn't available, I'm always willing to step into her extremely large but delicate shoes to produce something for you.
Well,
so
really
thanks for having me,
that.
guys.
No.
Can I just come in on that there, Ben?
Sure.
What's the name of your YouTube channel?
So it's actually called The Ben Thomas Show.
What was it again? Sorry, I didn't catch you. Say it again.
The Ben Thomas Show.
Yeah, I think you're breaking up. A little bit. You're gonna have to say it one more time.
We're trying to make a trend here. So
is it the Ben Thomas Show?
The Ben Thomas Show.
Okay,
That's
so
right.
if people want to find you, they could go to the Ben Thomas Show and they could click the subscribe button and support you right now if they really wanted to.
If they really wanted to.
All right, that's good. I just found you there on the Ben Thomas Show, and I clicked the subscribe button, and then I switched over to my Bitcoin channel, and I subscribed to in that as well. And you're going to subscribe now, aren't you?
I did before you.
Oh, you went. She beat me to
I
it.
did.
Right. So it's the Ben Thomas Show.
I shouldn't have worn such a red shirt. I'm going to be cherry like my shirt here in minutes.
See, I've always been kind of like, you got to go out and get it, and if people don't like it, they don't like it. If people don't like it,
100%.
They don't have to subscribe to my channel, but you need to say the Ben Thomas Show.
Yeah, my goal is to just have fun and be part of it. And as I said, I'm stoked and made some friends today. I appreciate it. It was awesome to meet you guys.
Well, Megan, these guys are so good at the sales pitch. Like I'm going to look so crummy in comparison, but
that's why she's here
too.
Yeah, I was kind of like, okay, yeah, I have nothing else to do on Saturday night. Cool, yeah.
Oh man, you had infinitely better things to do than spend your time with us on a Saturday night, but really, really appreciate you spending your time here. And learned a lot about you guys. And again, Shane, really great to connect, finally in person or in stream. And so I'll just kind of give a pitch on what's coming up on our channel. We're going to continue to do these Saturday chats. So I think we've got 11 a.m. Pacific time, kind of as the best time that works for us. And so we're going to have Cuervo, who you all will recognize from a lot of the chats. He'll be on next week. And he'll kind of give us a perspective of how he balances things with kids. And he's got so much going on that He's always finding time for collecting and for the streams. And so we're going to get his perspective, and we'll be doing a few more live unboxings that we've promised for, going on a few weeks now. I've got the Golden Armor Wonder Woman just sitting in the box ready to unbox, but I do want to make some content out of that. And then the Razor Crest, another one where I'm like, I need to figure out how to shoot this exactly, but that unboxing is right in the pipeline. So yeah, please look forward to that. And again, subscribe to 16 Figure Focus and the Ben Thomas Show. Really great guys, and really hope that we can collaborate on something again in the near future. So with that, I don't have Gigi to lead me out. Ben, can you do a Gigi impression?
Bye.